Okay, we have a very, very special guest today. He is the co-editor in chief at Barstool Sports, as well as the Yankees and MLB writer. He is also the only American who cares about tennis. He is Eric Hubbs. Hubbs, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem. That's quite the intro. I'd say it's pretty accurate as well. What's going on, man?
Not too much. Our Yankees are falling apart. They're in last right now, but we'll save all the dismay to the end. Let's start at the beginning. You're obviously a huge Yankees fan. You live and die by every single pitch, just like me. Where'd your love of the Yankees begin?
I think I was wearing a Yankee jersey like 2 days being born into the world from my dad. And there was never even an option to become a Mets fan. It was just automatically Yankees. And I love baseball so much. I played it as a kid up through high school. And I don't know, something about the game that I just absolutely love watching and following. And I love how long it is. And I love how every day there's a game. Like, I'm a very impatient person. I don't like waiting. Like, if they ever get rained out, I'm angry. What do you mean I can't watch the Yankees today? So the fact that there's so many games a year, that's great. I love a lot of sports, but I love baseball the most, and the Yankees frustrate me the most, and that's why I love them.
Yeah, I try to, with every guest, I try to add a different flair to the background. So I know you're a big Packers fan. I added Lil Wayne, and we'll get into that stuff. And Jalen Brunson, hopefully the Knicks win tonight. Definitely, but stick to the Yankees a little bit. I know your podcast is Short Porch. You've had a bunch of interesting guests on, a lot of players. What has been the best interaction that you've had with one specific player? Who is your favorite person that you've had on?
It's a good question. Man, when we had Tommy Canley on, it was a treat because it took a little while to get him through. He's not doesn't have social media to contact his, use that as an engine to get through these guys. Sometimes had to go through an agent or whatever, and then finally he was just an absolute treat. And I'm so happy he's back. I really want him to pitch again. Just seeing him in the dugout as our mascot right now is not enough. I need to see him out there getting outs. He was a treat. We went down to Tampa a few times, interviewed John Sterling in person. That was a bucket list type deal. Those guys were awesome. Luke Voigt, when he was here, was always very good to us. And Clark right now, I wish he was pitching better, but he's been absolute, a joy to talk to and interact with. But if I were to go all the way back, I'd say Canley. Canley was just just a kid in an adult's skin, basically, and everything you see in the dugout is who he is, just as a person. So I love Tommy Canley.
Yeah, he's a pleasure. Speaking of Clark for a second, because you've had interactions with him, and obviously we both want him to do well. I've been pretty hard on him. Is it hard for you because you have such a good relationship with the guy to, really give your opinions, because you really do. You sling it like the best of anybody talking about the Yankees. Is it hard to do sometimes?
Yeah, a little bit, but I also understand and also I think people have to realize we have no other options right now, with our health. So, we gotta just keep rolling him out there. Is he better suited as a reliever until he figures out a consistent way to get lefties out? Probably, almost, maybe, definitely, because he does get righties out pretty well, at a high level. And you just see it sometimes. He'll have a bad first inning, and then innings 2 through 3, it's wow, that guy just struck out Vladdy Guerrero. It was nothing. What just happened? And then fourth inning, it falls apart. And so maybe he's destined to be a reliever, similar to Michael King. I guess King was a little bit more successful as a starter, but maybe they're both meant to be in the bullpen and help us out that way. But right now, kind of just going to roll with it and hopefully finds it. And there's been a few bright spots. I feel like he was pretty good. A few, these last few times has been better than earlier on, but it's still not all the way there. And with the way the offense is hitting, the pitching has to be nearly perfect. And it's, you don't really get that with him at the moment. So
no, you're right. We don't have any other option. You're absolutely right. When we were arguing between Domingo Germán and Clark Schmidt before the season, it's one story, but you're absolutely right. And maybe he does find his way into the bullpen. Boone probably mishandled him last year, bring him into the playoff series against Guardians. The list can go on and on with him. But I just wanted to see that interaction, because I know you do give your honesty like this. And I just really wanted to know your thoughts on that. All right. So you started, you've been at Barstool Sports for a while. What's it like working at Barstool Sports for Dave? I mean, it must be unreal. And just what's your favorite thing about working at Barstool Sports?
Yeah, it's I think this fall, I think 7 years or something like that it will be since I was like, just starting as an intern.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's the longest I've ever done anything since being alive, basically. So yeah, no, it's cool. I think I tell everyone when they ask that question, the rarity that you wake up every day and you don't dread to go to work. And I feel like that's so difficult. And I had it with my previous job before this. And it's just, I feel like not, very few times it feels like a job. And I don't take that for granted for 1 second. And I try to work as much as I can and I have a blast with it. And I don't know. I don't think there's many jobs out there, sort of like, being a professional baseball player and all that, where you truly love going to work every day and getting in the mix and having fun and just doing your thing. And this is definitely one of those that I just absolutely love, and I don't take it for granted for 1 second.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I see all the stuff, and I mean, I don't want to sound like a fanboy at all, but I watch, you're on The Dozen. I watch The Dozen. I love that show. It's very interactive. And really, Barstool Sports is like the next wave of generation and stuff of internet companies. And, you really got to see what ESPN's going to do. But everybody there just seems to have their own niche and do stuff so well. And I think it's testament to Dave and, Big Cat and KFC and the guys that came before you. And I think that you guys have done a great job hiring people to continue on. So yeah, pretty damn
yeah,
cool.
It's a pretty wide cast of characters and personalities, and it's fun to just see them all mix it up. And we go at it sometimes, and other times we have each other's backs, but it's a blast. I truly love working for this place, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, you guys it all seems like you guys can sling it and have thick skin and can turn the page in a minute. And I think that's what's the coolest thing about it.
Yeah.
All right. I know you're a huge Packers fan, and I had to get your thoughts on Jordan Love. What are your thoughts on Jordan Love? Do you think he can be successful this year? Or what's it like being a Packers fan today?
Yeah, well, I get called a bandwagon fan all the time, even though I don't really understand that. I don't think people know what that means when they say that to me, because Packers have had some of the worst losses, most excruciating playoff losses, like year in, year out almost. It's just horrible, horrible, horrible. And yeah, they did win the Super Bowl when I was in high school. That was awesome. But other than that, my first introduction really to the Packers was Freddie Mitchell, 4th and 26 against the Eagles. Cried my eyes out. And they've had some really, really tough ones. So I wish I didn't choose this life, because there were some bad losses. Yeah, they're always in the playoffs, but it gets bad. But as a fan, Jordan Love, I think it was the right move. I fully backed it. I don't think the front office consistently knows what they're doing, which is unfortunate. Obviously trading up to take Love when they did just was not the move. And then Rodgers goes to win 2 MVPs, and then you draft AJ Dillon, and then you think, okay, he's the running back, and then they go sign Aaron Jones to an extension, and it's like, okay, what are you doing? I just feel like they never know what they're doing. But the front office is all in on Love. This was their guy from the beginning, so they got to see it. They got to see it happen. And last year with Rodgers, it wasn't. We took a step back as an offense. So it's exciting to go into a year with almost no expectations and just let's see what happens. And if he's really good, it'd be the funniest thing in the world. If he goes on that trajectory again to be Bears fans would be in shambles. And I actually think it's tough to really grade how he looked against the Eagles in garbage time last year, but the ball was coming out of his hand with some really good zip, and there was good footwork, and it was just a guy that I hadn't seen before, and we haven't seen a whole lot of them. So I'm excited for the unknown. There's something about the unknown that is very exciting here. And almost no expectations right now. Maybe in 2 years, 3 years, yeah. But this year, it's kind of just let's see what we got in the kid, and if we do, then we build around him, and he's the man. And if not, then we move on. But like I said, the unknown is fascinating, fun. It can be terrifying as well. But I'm ready for it, because the Rodgers stuff, I will root for. I won't be a Jet fan, but I hope he does well in New York. That guy was awesome to watch for as long as he did, 19 years or whatever, 18. So it was a blessing to watch him and Favre, and now it's time for a new chapter.
Yeah, and coming from a Giants fan, it doesn't like the NFL is so popular and so amazing that if your team isn't great, it's not like being an MLB fan where you can just throw the season out and go hang out in the summer. The NFL is so popular and amazing.
Right.
We have our fantasy team, so it's fun to do that as well.
Yep.
And that was gonna be my next question. Will you root for Aaron Rodgers in the Jets uniform? And I mean, how could you not? I mean, you said it yourself.
I really hope they don't win the Super Bowl. I hope it ends in an excruciating fashion like it did most of the time here. I hope he plays his ass off. I hope he plays well. I'm excited to flip on CBS randomly and he'll just be on there every week. That's pretty cool. And yeah, I really hope he does well, and I hope they lose in excruciating fashion because I want his only Super Bowl to be in Green Bay.
Yeah, and that'll happen because we talked. I last week I had a guest on. We talked all NFL, and the AFC is the best it's ever been. I mean, you can go up and down the list. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. The Trevor Lawrence we thought was the 7th best quarterback in the AFC.
That's the funny thing with if Love is kind of good, they become a pretty fun, dangerous team because the NFC has nothing. It's just very barren. So
absolutely,
yeah. If you like, I think I was trying to do it the other day. If you list the best quarterbacks in the NFC, it gets thin very quickly. Kirk Cousins' name comes up very quickly. There's, Derek Carr is he the best quarterback in the NFC? Jalen Hurts, sure, he's which won the Super Bowl, but
right.
Then it's is it Derek Carr? And that's not a good thing if Derek Carr's your second best quarterback in the conference. So it gets thin quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually my huge take now is because I'm a Giants fan. It's if the Eagles don't make the Super Bowl, that's a complete failure. That's what I'm trying to spin now.
Yeah.
Because you could argue that Dak or Daniel Jones or Derek Carr is the second best.
And that's not a good thing. Those guys shouldn't be in those Dak. Especially, I don't think I've never thought much of him, but yeah, Daniel Jones, they're nice, but they can't be the second best. If you go to the AFC and it's those guys would be the 10th best quarterback in the AFC. So It is crazy. There's a lot. The NFC is just it's wide open if Philly doesn't do their job.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. All right, let's get into the Yankees questions.
Yep.
They're in last place. It's May 8th. The Yankees have lost 17 games already, sitting at 18-17. They lost their 17th game last year on June 19th. Is it too early to panic?
No, it's not. But the last place stuff doesn't really get to me. I've just always done this as a fan. July 4th is when I really check the standings every day. Did we make up ground? Where are we? I try to wait till July 4th. It's obviously not great to be 10 games back on May 8th. That's never a good thing. It's always the adage, you can't win the division in April, but you could certainly lose it. And honestly, you consider all the injuries they had, their record right now is actually kind of okay, all things considered. The thing is, when the Rays go on that streak, then it doesn't become okay because you're basically out of it right now. And the reason I try to say patient is because last year through 3 months, like you said, when do we lose this game? It all fell apart. So you got to almost take it. It can all change. If these guys, if Judge comes back on Tuesday, Sebi back hopefully soon after. Bader's looked excellent coming back here. You get the MLB players back. You don't have to play, the Aaron Hicks of the world. Things get a little better. Now, the Carlos Rodon news is obviously concerning, and they're missing some key, some relievers there. And Montas is a joke. It's not. And also, if you look at their offense from last year, which didn't get it done, and they just ran it back. And that's if you get everyone healthy, then you're just still back to the running it back team, which didn't get it done. So, the injection of youth, which I like, but those guys need time, and they're not in a position right now to have time because of the injuries. So it kind of sucks for the young guys right now to have all this pressure. So to answer your question, it's not too early to panic, but I do believe this is not a last place team. I just don't.
Right.
I thoroughly do not believe this is a last place team. And they have played a decent schedule so far. So hopefully, they play the A's tonight. You got to sweep the A's. You got to just take care of the A's. The games after that are a little tough. I'm not panicking too much, but I'm not panicking, if that answers your question.
Yeah. And I like you said, July 4th, I like to call it a Flag Day is June 14th. And then if you're 10 games under 500, you can wave the white flag. But until then, you're absolutely right. I mean, when this team's fully healthy, they can be the best team. When the injuries have been excruciating
Yeah.
every single year. And I'm personally not a fan of Aaron Boone. If you ever see me tweet,
Yeah.
it's tough because every year I'm like, I turn on this like face. I try to be this positive light, and then he's batting Calhoun fifth, and then he's doing things that are just confusing. Like, why isn't Bader batting before Calhoun? And
Yeah.
even yesterday and his management of the bullpen, damned if he does, damned if he doesn't,
Right.
with this being a fan of the Yankees, because we're vicious. We're absolutely vicious. He doesn't have the best players to really, put on the field. He's pinch hitting IKF a couple of days ago, just like a lot of crazy things that you're just like,
Yeah.
what? Because I truly think that some of these Yankee fans, like myself, like you, like some other guys, could actually, if they were given the chance to manage, could do just as good. Maybe not a better job, but just as good as the job of Aaron Boone. Let me get to the question, though. What would you grade Aaron Boone's job this year?
So what's funny is, so we recorded a pod a week ago, and we were actually talking about Boone, and we were like, he really hasn't like shot himself in the foot too much here. Like, it really is like the roster's construction is horrible, and we hate Brian Cashman, and for that reason. And it's like, like what else could he be doing here? And since we said that, he's like single-handedly lost like 2 games for the Yankees. So it's like he just came out. He's like, I gotta put my hands on this team. I disagree with a lot he's done very recently. The Cole thing, like I do get both sides. It's tough to like remember specifics because it's all just been so sad lately. But the Cole thing yesterday, I feel like everyone watching could just tell he was out of the gas, and they didn't have anyone like really up. And then the guy you have up is Jimmy Cordero, and it's like, I don't get the Jimmy Cordero obsession. I know the numbers for the most part, I just don't trust him.
Right.
Like I trusted Ian Hamilton way more before him. And then there's the Clay Holmes misusage, right? Who's looked a little better lately out of the closer position, taking him out of the closer position. But man, it's just, sometimes I just don't understand why they don't have the utmost trust in Michael King. I don't know what else he's got to show you. Ron Marinaccio too doesn't get a lot of like the trust that he deserves. And for whatever reason, Clay hasn't. Maybe finally we've hit that breaking point where Clay is going to become this like 8th inning guy now, and like you're going to see Ron and maybe Ian Hamilton, who's been great, and King get more of the 9th inning roles. But yeah, just what would I grade him? Man, I just don't want. I know he's been really bad lately, but what is he, a C plus, B minus? Like he's just been like
Okay.
whatever. He has.
Okay.
For me, he's just never going to be a guy that elevates the team. Right, he's never going to be, and like you talked about the lineups, right? Like Willie Calhoun, and I don't even know really what he does with the line. Like I'm under the impression he has almost no say with the lineups. Like the computer prints it out or Cashman, and he just puts it out there. So like I don't know if the criticism there is warranted. I will say he like talked to Willie Calhoun, and then Willie went on a little bit of a streak, and now they just don't play him anymore. So that I don't understand. But like you were saying about Boone, the roster has just been so decimated that it's tough to really give him the brunt of the blame here. I don't think that's fair. There have been a few games that have been his hands were all over in bad ways, but it's B minus almost sounds like he's doing an okay job. He's just it's just been meh. It's just like it's not his fault, but some games are. But it's really just Cashman and the strength and conditioning, just getting these guys, not having these guys in perfect shape.
Yeah, and that's the most frustrating part is because you're saying, is he really putting out the lineup every single day? And a buddy of mine works for the Yankees, and he's like, dude, like if you think about it, Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman have known each other for their entire lives.
Yeah, he's family basically with them.
Right, exactly. So I feel like for me, if I'm bashing Brian Cashman, I'm not even really doing my job because he's going to be tied there, whether we like it or not. They'll bring in a Sabian. They'll bring in more guys. Maybe even he becomes like, the president of give him a different title. But eventually this guy has to, he has to be held accountable for this roster construction. Yeah. But also at the same time, if you're hiring a manager, you have to let the manager push the buttons in a game. Garrett Cole, like you said yesterday, He almost gives up a home run. The same pitch back to back almost gives up a home run twice. You're like, okay, maybe he's losing it a little bit. He gives up the 2 runs, and you're like, let's maybe just stop the bleeding right here. Bring in King, bring in Wandy.
Yeah.
That was my thought process. Just do it. 6-2. You can hold on to a lead for four runs. The Cash on the Rays was leaving Fleming in. He was handing us the game. He's like, we're up 18 games, over 500.
They even said on the broadcast, Kay was like, man, they're really letting him wear it. And it's like, because they were kind of just like, all right, our record is our record. We don't need to like go into our pen here. It's still kind of early in the year. We don't want to kill these guys. And then, Boone just like overplayed his hands and it stunk, man. I think that one of the number one signs you can tell a guy is losing it, especially like Cole, like in a start, is lack of location. Every ball was down the middle. Like all those hard hit balls that got to 6-3 2-men on before the Betancourt home run was just, all those balls were left so over the plate. And like Cole all this year had pristine location. That's basically why he's been so good, is he's been dotting his fastball and he was just hanging everything and leaving things over the plate and it was getting bashed. And I don't know, man, you just can't see it. I feel like so many people watch that at home and we're like, man, what are we doing here? Why is he still in the game here? I know he's Garrett Cole. I know he's been the ace this year and we pay all this money. But at some point, a starting pitcher gets tired, and you have to recognize that. And I just feel like that Aaron Boone's one of his biggest flaws, that he actually has the ability to, impact in the game, is he doesn't know when to take a guy out or when to leave him in, like the Domingo Germán thing, last week or whatever. He just doesn't have that feel, and that is a big deal when you don't have that many things to actually do. The lineup is not him and all this. But that's something he does, bullpen management, and he's not good at it. And it sucks.
Yes, exactly. So, stop the bleeding. Big game against the Rays. Why is Jimmy Cordero in?
Yeah, I just don't.
Doesn't make sense.
I don't.
It's
that's
tough.
not the guy to bring in. No. And then the guy doesn't even check the runner at third. What are we doing?
Yeah. So, Speaking of tough. Every Yankee fan's favorite player, Aaron Hicks. Judge is coming back tomorrow. Thank God. Do you think he's gonna be demoted tomorrow, or you think this is another month and a half between a battle between Hicks and IKF?
Yeah, I think he's still here. As I check his stats, his OPS plus is 7. That is, he's a marvel with his stats. I didn't know it could be that low. He has 9 total bases. His OPS plus is 7. It's remarkable. And it's crazy. There's just no athlete he does not deserve any of this. And people ask me, do you ever feel bad for the guy? No, he makes $10 million a year and he's financially secure, and he's, I need good players on the team that are playing consistently. It's just a joke. I don't expect him to get DFA'd tomorrow. I think what I was saying earlier was, if Stanton returns and Donaldson returns, if you're not DFAing Donaldson, if those guys return, I think, and everyone else remains okay, Bader, Judge, then I think it's almost has to happen. But tomorrow they can, Willie, they can move, Bowers, they can move, and Peraza, if they want to IL him or whatever, backdate it because he hasn't played a little bit here since getting hurt running the bases. So I think one of those 3 guys goes down. I don't see it being Hicks. I almost think that might be the spark we need. And it seems like maybe the players like him, but it's just miserable when he plays. There's such when you see the lineup come out at 4:00 every day and you just see him in left field, it's just like, what are we doing? How can you tell me, that keeping this guy out there and playing him so much that's what I hated. Cashman spoke to the media last week and he said, someone asked him, it was a good question. Were there any trades that you didn't make in the offseason that you felt could have helped the team that you didn't pull the trigger on? And he said, no. You mean to tell me there wasn't anyone you could bring in here that could have been better than Aaron Hicks? Because that's a lie. Aaron Hicks is, I think, the 3rd worst statistical player in all of baseball. You mean to tell me there were all the signs that this was just going to continue? No one actually believed Aaron Hicks was all of a sudden become a baseball player again. And the fact that he said that, it's a bold-faced lie. There was any major league player you bring in here, just have a real bench. And this team is built around people who get hurt a lot. Yeah. To believe that all these guys are going to stay healthy, is so naive. Like, do you know the guys you traded for and signed? Like, these guys, you need an MLB bench to spell these guys. And you have Aaron Hicks there, and you have IKF. You gave IKF $6 million. I never understood why they did that in the beginning. Everyone's like, oh, it's $6 million. Well, you know what? This team, like, when they look at the payroll, $6 million is a lot of money. Like that could be the difference in getting a different player. And, you know, IKF has done, I think, a really good job in center field when Bader was out. And he actually, from my viewpoint, like, I never really noticed any defensive, like, deficiencies in center field when he was there. Now, can he hit? No, he's not an MLB level hitter anymore.
And he's batting sixth tonight, sixth. Yeah, exactly.
His numbers are crazy. I don't really get it because he's known as a singles hitter, like contact guy. And his numbers are so, like, he was never this bad. He can't do anything this year at the plate. Like, not even, like, last year, there was like a decent amount in. I feel like where he was like top 5 in hits on the team last year. And then it kind of went down. But he's still at 261. He's 203. His OPS is 458. Like, man, that's a guy that can't be on your team if you want to take yourself seriously.
Yeah, especially, no, and I agree with you. And I had this conversation like even before the season. Good on IKF. The difference, this is where I can't really get mad at IKF, and I can get terribly angry at Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks making $10 million a year, and he's going in the 4th or 5th game of the season. He's asking to play. He's complaining about to play. IKF knows he stinks at shortstop, and he's saying, you know what? Give me a glove. I'll find a way to be. If he wants to be the Tyler Wade of the 2023 Yankees, I'm here for it.
Yeah, well, it was a similar quote to, well, not quote, but it's a similar mentality that Matt Carpenter had last year, right? When he comes over, he's like, I'm so happy to be here. I think he said, like, I'll load the bags into the plane if I have to.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality IKF has. And I do appreciate that. And, like, there is something that does help the chemistry of the team a little bit. And then you got Aaron Hicks, like you just said. And it's just like, I'm not playing enough. Dude, have you seen your numbers when you do play? What do you when you play way too much. You did not play enough. You play way too much for what you do. And, you know, it's 4 rollover. I know he hit a double yesterday. It was his first extra base hit in 222 days. Unbelievable stat.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a totally different mentality between those two guys, 100%.
Yeah. God. I mean, the 6 through 9 hitters tonight are just so tough to look at.
Yeah.
I do think they're going to win tonight because
they're playing the A's, so they really
Yeah, the A's have 8 wins, so hopefully. Yeah, let's hope. All right, yeah. I don't want to keep you for too long. We'll do a segment call.
You're fine. No, you're right about the 6 through 9, like, but honestly with Bader back, like, that does help. If they get a little bit more healthier, the lineup extends a little bit more because then, you know, Volpe, Glaber, Rizzo, DJ, then a Judge, Bader. That's 6 MLB players. Okay. And then 7 through 8, you got Trevino and Oswaldo and Bowers. And it's like, okay, I can deal with that. That's a little bit better than what we were dealing with before. But it's just bad when you see Aaron Hicks and IKF out there at the same time. And you said he's batting 6th tonight. It's just depressing. It's just depressing.
Well, at least he's not batting 5th and Bader 6th. Like, you know, that's the stuff that's like really, really frustrates me because every Yankees fan knows that there's 5 good hitters right now. That's just a fact. There's 5 good guys on the roster right now. And when they're not batting 1 through 5, it's like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, I tell you what, it's depressing. I went to a game. I think it was against the Phillies game or whatever. Yeah, Phillies. And the 7, 8, 9 was IKF, Higgy, who I don't want to hate on Higgy.
Right.
But he pinch hit double the other day. What the hell was that? But when you sandwich him between IKF and Hicks, you might as well just not watch that half inning. You're not going to miss a thing. Go to the bathroom, go cook some dinner real quick. Like that's not an MLB level 7 through 9. Just and
at that point you're just like, at that point you're like, play Peraza. Yeah. It's so unfortunate that I mean, I love the Martian. It's so unfortunate that he started off 0 for 14 or whatever it was because I'd be clamoring for him. I can't get those takes off right now.
Right.
But I'd love to see Jason Dominguez getting some actual play instead of IKF and Willie Cordero and Willie Calhoun and
I will say, regardless, I totally, he's not off to the best start in 2023, but you can't tell me with a straight face that you don't believe, and I know service time and all this, but you don't believe that he would be putting up better at bats and more production than Aaron Hicks. That's just an absolute lie if you don't believe that. Even him, I mean, his numbers aren't good, but the 169 batting average, his OPS is still 748. He's getting on base. He's getting on base at almost a 40% clip. His OBP is 380 right now in Double-A. He's gonna be fine. Like, people are panicking about that. Like, I really
no, he's walking like an exceptional rate. I was like, I really wanted to get the tweet off to bring up. I do it every blue moon to just bring up the Embrace the Martians, my saying, Embrace the Martian, Kid Cudi song. Bring up, I mean, at least the fans will be at the game and there won't be 6,000 people there. Yeah. Again, you're right. It's May. We shouldn't panic. We'll see.
24 walks, 24 strikeouts for him if he lives there, that's tremendous. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So I'm not concerned about him at all. I know there are people that are going to freak out about that. Man, these guys take time. Volpe, every single level that he got promoted, he took about a month and a half to adjust. Let these guys adjust. Which he can help me right now. Realistically, he's a 2024 guy.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. And it makes so much sense. And if I tweet out Jason Dominguez time, people are going to say, oh, you're not a real fan. So I can't get those takeoff yet.
What I will say with him is I wonder I love Harrison Bader. If he can stay healthy, man, he brings so much to the table. And, I wonder what his future is with this team, because Dominguez is a center fielder by trade. So, like, how does the outfield shape up moving forward? But obviously that is a future question that we'll figure out. But it's just something that I just really like what I get out of Bader. He's the kind of guy who can give the team like a Nick Swisher-esque spark, but almost like a more serious Nick Swisher, just like just like a meathead, like a Luke Voigt-esque. It's like a Luke Voigt, Nick Swisher combo personality we have with him. And I do like Harrison Bader a lot.
It all makes sense too. He's from Bronxville.
Yeah.
He got the Darth Bader name. It really all makes sense with him. And dude, we have to like kind of construct this roster like it's a football team with the way we have injuries.
I know.
So it'll all work itself out. All right. We'll do a quick segment called Fill in the Blank. Then I'll let you get out of here. I know we have a huge Knicks game to go tonight. Fill in the blank. The Knicks Heat series will go blank games.
7 games. We're going 7. I think they win tonight. I do. As we're talking about this on Monday. I think they win tonight, and then I think the home team will win after this game, the rest of the series, and they win in 7. At least that's the hopeful Knicks fan in me.
Awesome. All right. If you had to choose one athlete to be your wingman at a bar, who would it be?
Yeah, see, like, you don't want to pick Jeter because he's just going to go home with the girl.
Right.
So you don't want that. I think Judge, although he's going to like, I don't know, he's just so nice that he'll say all the nice things about me that I didn't even think of that are about it. And he'll try to help me out. Just got to pray the girl doesn't go home with him. But yeah. Or maybe you go to the flip side and you go like Ian Hamilton, who's like so strange looking that like you'll like appear normal compared to him. I do love Ian Hamilton, but I just can't get a read on him. He's just a weird guy. So I would go one of those two.
Fair. Great answers. And you're like, I actually really enjoy your tennis takes because I'm not a big tennis fan at all.
Yeah.
I do watch the major tournaments, and I know Big Cat has his GOAT, and it's a running joke on part of my take, but who is your GOAT?
Fed. I mean, it's always been Fed. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have to. You can't count all the titles because obviously that goes to Djokovic. But I mean, think about a guy. If you just think about tennis, I think of Roger Federer. I think of the absolute king when he was rolling. He's awesome. But yeah, that's the tennis nerd to me. It might be this new guy, Carlos Alcaraz. He might end up being the GOAT if he stays healthy. He's something else. But yeah, I mean, I'm always going to say Fed. That's biased.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't know enough, but I had to ask.
I appreciate you even knowing that I'm a tennis fan. So
absolutely. I follow you. I mean, I'm in the know, I think. I really don't. Fill in the blank. The Yankees will win blank games in 2023.
Let's get to 90. How about we win 90 games? Because right now that doesn't even seem possible. Let's get 90 and be a wild card team. I think that's really what you got to shoot for right now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
it's almost feels hard to like, how do they go over 90 at this point? So yeah, if they can get to 90, that means like they kind of stayed healthy the rest of the way here. and things came together a little bit, I think 90 would be a good one. And then, I mean, if you think about it, and it's so stupid of us to be optimistic here, but man, if they just they're in the playoffs, and you got Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, and Severino and Nestor. Those four in a playoff rotation, it should work.
Yeah.
It should work. And the Astros look terrible. And Tampa, if they come down to earth a little, we played Tampa well. It's so frustrating. You can't take any positives out of it. But we really played them well this weekend with half our roster. I don't know. Sorry, I'm going to be a little out there. Maybe we could play the A's, and I'm hoping we win, and maybe I'll be a little happier later. But I don't know. I get to 90 wins, get healthy, and let's see what happens.
No, that's just exactly what I respect about you. You say it how it is, pitch by pitch. Don't ever change. Don't ever change that. All right. This last question is called True Serum. So you're injected with True Serum. If the Yankees fail to make the World Series this season, would you clean house and fire Cashman and Boone?
I would have done it last year with a smile on my face. So absolutely. No question. Will they do it? No, of course not. But absolutely, I would have done it probably 2 years ago. Like I am so just the malpractice of playing a guy like Aaron Hicks as much as they have this year. Never mind last year. 100%.
Absolutely. All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Try to get you on sometime soon again. Maybe around July 4th to see if we're buying or selling it.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, no problem.
But yeah, let's go Knicks, and really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.